One day I feel alright. The next I'm looking for the light, for the light, for the light.
It is the end of day 1 of the COVID Diaries. Yeah, so if you saw my September vlog, it ends kind of abruptly, and that would be because when my husband got home from our travel to Illinois, the next morning he tested positive for COVID. So, as you can imagine, my week off that I was going to take for me is now not going to be very relaxing or recharging, but we're going to make the best of it. That is okay. That is life. Things are going to not go as planned sometimes, especially in a family unit. There's a lot of individual factors and it's just reality. He is in the master bedroom, which has a connecting bathroom. Very important. He's going to stay in our room. I have set up this air mattress in our office that we work in home. This will be my bedroom. It's close to the child's room, so that's a good thing. That's also why I'm talking kind of quiet. So I apologize for the volume switch that's going to happen here. But essentially, I will catch you up a little bit on what happened. Back it all the way up to Sunday the 16th, we went on a work trip. And that work trip was to Illinois. It was a massive work conference that is a week long. We were there from Sunday until Wednesday for me and Friday for my husband. I have had 0 symptoms. I have tested negative twice and I feel completely fine. I got home on Wednesday because I didn't have childcare for Thursday and Friday, but my husband stayed because, you know, both of us don't need to leave, and he had an important product launch, which made his trip even more stressful. So I left at like 5 in the morning, I believe, on Wednesday from Illinois and flew back to California. And I masked the whole time after I got on the plane until this morning. I was masking. I didn't take my mask off. I was protecting my child because statistically at an event with several hundred people traveling from all over the world, someone is going to have COVID. And so luckily I've been asymptomatic so far, feeling really okay, feeling good. I feel like I just traveled, so I'm recovering from travel, but otherwise no fever. I got my flu shot yesterday with the kiddo, and so far both of us are completely fine. Because we got the flu shot though, if we do get a fever, it's going to be kind of hard to figure out if it's COVID or just flu shot reaction. So that was poor timing, but got them before my husband got home. He got home at 3 in the morning this morning, and I saw him walk in the door and something just clicked for me, and I was like, he is sick. He has COVID. He was just tired. He had been awake since like 5 in the morning that time in Chicago, which would have been 3 a.m. and he'd been on planes and blah 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 all the way until 3 a.m. here, which would have been 5 a.m. in his internal clock. So I expected him to be tired and fatigued, but there was just some motherly intuition, call it witchcraft or whatever you will, but I had an intuition that he was sick, and guess what? I was right. I saw him and I put a mask on. He slept in the same bed as me, but like the opposite side of the king bed, and I put pillows between us, and he was facing the wall and I was facing the window, and I was wearing a mask. So I'm really hoping I didn't catch the COVID, but he woke up in the morning and felt like death. So I went and bought him a COVID test and it was immediately positive. So the fella finally has gotten COVID. We have evaded COVID. We've never had it in this house until today. So that's terrifying. Our child has asthma. So that's triple terrifying. I have some health concerns of my own that we're trying to figure out, so that's doubly concerning. If I get sick, I'm gonna have to take care of my child and my husband while sick. So let's really hope that I don't get it. Yeah, the plan is to survive, and I wanted to kind of document a little bit of that. So this morning he tested positive. I went to the grocery store, fully masked, I would like to point out, and picked up groceries for the week. I made a chili soup that is very, you know, nutritious, high in like beans and chicken and vegetables and stuff like that. Lots of garlic, things that are gonna make us feel a little bit better. And then he's been drinking tons of tea. I've been making turmeric lattes, which are like immunity boosting. I got some lemons. You're getting the picture. So we've just kind of stocked up and we're staying home. Our plan, I'm going to continue masking. He is not allowed to leave that room, not even think about leaving that room. And I'm going to mask around the child and just kind of try to stay away from her in general because she's 2. She's gonna want to touch my mask and everything. So I've been making her, you know, kind of play in the living room. We got a box and we filled it with like sticker sheets and stuff. So it's her creative box. So she sits in the box, which is something that I can't do with her. Basically just trying to keep her like really distracted so that she doesn't need to be in my proximity, like playing with me. Luckily, our roommate did not go on the work trip. He's been home this entire time, so he has not been exposed to the Rona. So he's been playing with the child when he can, which is nice. She loves playing with people, and she loves him, so it's been great to have him here. And yeah, that's the plan, is to just continue masking and hope that the child doesn't get sick. If I am sick, I will do everything in my power not to get her sick, because no. Gonna mask. I'm only not masking because I'm in this room and this is now like my quarantine room when I'm not taking care of a child. That's the plan. I'm gonna sleep in this room until I can't anymore. It's been really hard having traveled right before we got sick. The child hasn't seen her dad in a week because we dropped her off at her grandparents' house last Saturday, which is exactly a week from today, and she keeps asking for him. And I keep having to tell her, no, he's sick, he's sleeping, he needs to rest. And she keeps saying, Dada's sick, he needs to rest, can we go wake him up? And I have to say no, you know, we need to keep everyone safe. So that's been hard on her, and it's been hard on me because we didn't see each other very much during the work trip. We were both so busy. We were planning to have a really nice weekend this weekend after travel, but I can't see him. I'm in a mask and he's locked in a room and I just leave things outside the door. That's rough. We were hoping to have some finally like recharging time together. I'm sorry, I'm really itchy. The sheets at the hotel left my skin feeling awful. Anyways, it's gonna sound nuts to some people. I'm gonna sound a little kooky. But this thing happens where like birds do things in my general vicinity and like they give me a vibe. Whatever comes to mind when that like bird event happens tends to come true. Like, for example, we get like 10 or 15 crows, like literally 10 to 15 on our short like 100-foot back wall of our yard every single time a friend of mine is in need of a friend. It's not even a joke. It's crazy. Every single time there has been a line of 15 crows on our back wall in our backyard. I have called my friend and they have said that they were in need, and how did I know that they needed a friend? And it's like the birds told me. I don't know. I just think of them every time I see that big line of crows, and it's never been another friend. Only ever been this specific friend. Fast forward to now, and before we left for our work trip, I kept continuously seeing this lone dove, and that's very uncommon over here. Like usually we get pigeons, hawks and stuff, but doves are like very hit or miss, and they're usually in twos. So the fact there was just one and it kept showing up like every single day was kind of strange, and it was staring at me. And I tried talking to it and it just kind of like stayed there, which is weird. So all to say, when I was looking at this bird, the first thing that came to mind was we're going to this really big work conference during the spikes in the COVID-19 infections for this variant. Very concerned that we were gonna get sick, and guess what? I got back from the work trip, and what's the first thing I see when I get home? A lone dove, that same exact one, on our back wall. My husband gets home, dove disappears, and I'm like, I think that dove was trying to tell me that, you know, they usually travel in twos. It was alone. Quarantine. Sounds nuts. I know it's not like truly like real, if that makes any sense, but I just had an intuition. Statistically, it makes sense that it happened. It makes sense. A week of several hundred people rotating out of a small building. Everyone's gonna get the Rona. Now that I've exposed myself as a crazy person, I'm gonna go to bed. It's 9 p.m. Tomorrow I'm gonna wake up and try to get up before the kids so that I can get things ready downstairs. I will see you in the morning. Hopefully I continue to be asymptomatic. My temperature has been stunning. The child's temperature, stunning. Let's just hope nobody else gets sick. Hello friends, it is day 2 of the COVID Diaries, and so far I have had another negative COVID test. I tested again because I do have like a sore throat, I would say, a scratchy throat, but not uncommon for me after traveling and when the weather is the way that it is. So, you know, I tested just to be sure. It was negative, hard negative. It's in the bathroom right now. Still testing negative. My temperatures have consistently been 97 degrees, which is where I constantly lay. I don't have a fever. I've been feeling hot, but it's because I'm wearing like a thick face mask on my face and it's summer. So, you know how that goes. I'm eating my dinner right now, which is the same chicken chili from yesterday. It's been our meal, every meal since I made it. This afternoon I did make homemade marshmallows because, which tip from Big Sister Scout here, marshmallows, not only do they have gelatin and sugar in them usually that coat your throat to help with sore throat and cough, but also marshmallow root, which is not in store-bought ones but is in homemade ones, is so good for the respiratory system and sore throats. Hopefully the marshmallows turn out this time. Back when my child was first sick, I tried making them, but the recipe I used did not call for gelatin. It was egg whites. It did not go well. So I tried a different recipe this time. I'm really hoping it works. I did marshmallow root and cinnamon, Saigon cinnamon, in hopes that I can make a medicinal marshmallow. My husband's been eating the little bag of like assorted fruit flavor marshmallows that we usually use for the child. They're like mini little pink and green and yellow marshmallows. But they've been helping. I think it's just the sugar that coats it. Additionally, the marshmallow recipe that I used uses like a huge amount of honey instead of white sugar. So that's nice. It will also have honey medicinal properties, which is excellent. It has been pretty good today. This morning my husband woke up feeling worse than he did the day before, so hopefully today was the worst of it and he's going to get better from here. Second half of the day he stopped taking Dayquil and his fever did not come back, so I'm gonna assume he's on the rise towards getting better. He's been coughing more and his throat has been hurting more, so I've been making him lots of turmeric lattes with like tons of honey and lemon and ginger and all of that. He just messaged me he wants to talk on the phone since we can't see each other and it's been so long, so I'm gonna say yeah. So far today the child had a horrible day. It's probably because I've, unfortunately by necessity, I've been letting her watch more TV. She's been playing kind of more by herself because I'm trying to take care of so many things at once. which is a lot. So yeah, I feel bad. She was very clingy. I'm worried that if I get sick, she's been all up in my face today, so clingy. She's wanted to play and her play has been physical, which is unusual for her. She's usually not a very touchy child, so very annoying that she wants to be touchy when she could get sick from me if I am, you know, if I do catch it. But it also makes me concerned that she might be sick because she usually is only clingy when she doesn't feel good. Oh, and she just got her flu shot, so you know, everything's really just confusing. I feel like I'm stuck in purgatory right now. just in this in-between state of like everything is uncertain and everyone is on edge. My anxiety has been through the roof. You can hear my child just woke up and started whining. It is a season that we are going to get through, and hopefully these medicinal marshmallows help. I'm gonna go to bed early now and enjoy my dinner and some sleep. This air mattress is the worst, by the way. Don't ever come stay at my house unless I get an actual mattress for you, because this is awful. I apologize to my friend in Virginia who stayed with us for a few days and slept on this mattress. I'm sorry. Anyway, I'm gonna go call my husband because that would make me happy. Hello friends, it is day 4 of the COVID Diaries, and pardon the mess behind me, but it has been a thing. Yesterday, everything was great. Nobody was symptomatic. Everyone was good. Would have been day 3 since my husband came home and would have potentially exposed anyone. I have my girl dinner here, by the way. It's just cheese, beans, and chips melted together in the microwave, and my favorite sweet habanero Cholula. Yesterday, everything was great. My mother-in-law came over and took the child to the playground because, again, I've been checking temperatures every 2 hours. It had been 3 days. She was several layers disconnected from the person. If anyone was going to get sick, it would have been me. Took her temperature at 4 p.m. on Monday, which would be day 4, and 98.3. Beautiful, stunning. And then I went over and touched her at 5 p.m. an hour later, and her temperature was 102. And I was blown away. It had been too long from her flu shot because she got her flu shot on Friday, which would have been day 0. 102 fever with no other symptoms. Gave her medication. She threw up the medication because she didn't want it. She like gagged on it. Gave her the medication again, and her fever went down to like 99.9-ish, so like around 100. Dropped 2 degrees. She passed out sitting up. She was sitting up and fell asleep. So I took her upstairs and put her to bed, and she didn't budge. She normally takes an hour to fall asleep, and she was asleep before I had even left the room. I went back in an hour later, and her temperature was 103, which was within the dose's time frame. Like it said every 4 hours, and it had only been 2 hours at that point, and she was all the way back up to 103. So called the hospital. They said, this is very strange. I tested her for COVID, no COVID. They made me go in there and wake her up at 8 p.m. and like do some things to make sure she was okay. She's totally fine. She just has a really horrible fever. Got her into an appointment this morning, which took an hour, by the way. Took an hour. I was supposed to go in at 11. I got there at 10:30, hoping they'd take us early. We didn't get seen until like 12, so that's great. And this morning the child refused to eat anymore, so that's been fun. She didn't sleep at all last night. I had to wake her up every 4 hours to check her temperature, make sure she was, you know, alive and well, and give her more Tylenol. And then this morning she woke up and she was pretty unhappy, and her fever was 102. Gave her Tylenol, went down to 99.8 again. And then I took her temperature in the car outside of the hospital at 10:30 a.m. and her temperature was 98.7. So her fever disappeared literally right before her doctor's appointment. At the doctor's appointment, fever 99. That's it though. Like no medication, just 99. The doctor was like, what is happening? When she finally saw us at noon. Ultimately, what ended up happening was they tested her for COVID. It was negative, and the doctor did say that it is very unlikely that me nor the child have COVID at this point, based on our current like precautions that we've taken for quarantining my husband, and based on the fact that it's been 4 days now since a possible exposure, not a real exposure. So doctor was confuzzled, but we figured it out. The child has this viral throat infection. It's like strep throat, but not the strep throat virus specifically, if that makes sense. It's a different kind of viral thing that can happen to the throat, which causes sore throat pain, and then it causes fevers in children. So adults apparently get it, but it's like super mild. It just feels like a tickly throat to an adult, but for a child it can cause on and off fevers. And guess what? Fever free until we got home. And 2 hours later at 5 p.m, boom, 103 fever. And I was like, she spent the whole day without a fever, and then all of a sudden 103 out of nowhere. Out of nowhere. I had taken her temperature like 30 minutes before. What the heck is going on? I don't like this thing. I definitely have whatever she has, because I've had like I thought it was allergies, because I get a sore throat all the time because I have really bad allergies, and I've been sleeping with the window open because it's so hot in the office overnight. Apparently I have it too, and her grandparents probably have it too. It's just like, it just happens to kids a lot worse, and it happens to adults and they don't notice. They're pretty asymptomatic. So that's unfortunate. Very unfortunate timing. The doctor was like, she doesn't have the flu, she doesn't have COVID. Very unfortunately just got a really bad sore throat, essentially, at the same time that her dad had COVID. We love the timing. The queen knows a good timing moment just to make things spicy. But yeah, she did take a nap today at 2 p.m, which is unusual for her. And she's been super tired, and she's been screaming at me the entire day. And she refused to eat. The only thing she ate today were 2 popsicles. These little tiny frozen fruit popsicles. And then she had a few drinks of a peanut butter vegan milkshake, and that is all she's eaten today. Oh, and she did eat like 1 or 2 cheese puffs. They're these chickpea, what are they called? Hippies? She ate a few hippies. Not a cannibal kind of way. But yeah, now she is sleeping. It is 5. Oh, it's not 5 anymore. She's been asleep for about an hour. It is 7:25. I am gonna eat my dinner and then go to sleep because I slept maybe 2 hours last night. I did fall asleep on the couch today while she was watching Little Bear and eating her little popsicle in her lounger chair, I guess you could call it. But I only slept for like 20 minutes at most because I saw which episode of Little Bear was on, and it was still within the reel of episodes that happens. They're like 40 minutes long, so I am sleep deprived, and I only got a shower today because I just left her in her room to play after her nap, because her nap was only 20 minutes long. But I did shower. It was a very quick one, but I feel like I'm on survival mode, and I'm very sad, and everyone in this house is just very sad. It's the theme for us right now. Husband is sad. He can't be around us. He hasn't seen her in over a week now, and he's sad that he's separated from me, and it's just really hard to be so close yet so far. But yeah, husband did test positive still today, so we will have to test him again tomorrow to see if maybe he'll get a negative test. He feels a ton better. He is just dealing with a cough at this point. But yeah, I'm gonna go eat now because I'm tired, and I'm gonna watch a video, and then I'm going to immediately go to sleep. I do not have to check her every few hours tonight though. I think she's gonna be fine. Hello friends, welcome to day 7 of the COVID Diaries. It is now the following Saturday. Don't ask me what date it is. I barely knew it was Saturday today, just because our roommate was home, and normally he is at work. Great news, me, the child, and the roommate, none of us have caught COVID. Husband is the only one. Worse news, it has been 7 days and my husband still has COVID and is still testing very, very positive. Today is the first day he's seen the line show up a little less soon on the test. He hasn't had a fever in 5 days. We are still absolutely quarantining, which is why I look like I'm kind of stuck in a hospital or something right now. I am in the office against a wall where the light actually will hit my face. Sorry for the creepy vibes. I just wanted to show you a little bit of our setup that we have going on because of the situation. The child obviously is in her room. My husband is in our room with the bathroom connected. so that he doesn't have to roam the house to like use the restroom or shower. I am in the guest room slash office, which means air mattress is blown up, and that's the only part of it that makes it a guest room. And yeah, it's been really hard to be away from him for a week. Can't be around each other. We're being very safe. And it's been even harder for the child because she hasn't seen him in 2 weeks now. So poor kid keeps asking to see him. He did put on a mask today and walked to his car to just go sit in his car to get out of the house, and the child saw him and started yelling and was like, I want to go with him, I want to play with him, why won't he play with me, why won't he come and hug me? And I'm sad for her. In her update, she's completely fever free now, and as far as I can tell, her appetite has mostly returned, but the sores have moved from her throat to her feet and her hands and her legs, which the doctor said could happen, so that's excellent. We love that for us. She has sores on her toes and her little feet, so I can't put shoes on her, and she wants me to carry her everywhere, which is completely fine, but I just feel bad for her. So yeah, let me give you a little tour of my room. So this is the door that leads to the rest of the house. My cart and altar, which usually is just a cart with like tarot cards and stuff, but I also added now my hygiene stuff down there, my laptop bag, and my sticker case that the kid and I share. By the door, I am using this corner as dirty laundry because I don't have a hamper, and that's my camera battery plugged in. And then from the door, what you see is this disaster. So the air mattress takes up basically the whole room. So yeah, it's against our board game shelf and the closet, which is just utilities. And then the desk, my tea that I need to drink now, the books that I'm currently focusing on. The stack's getting too tall because I keep starting new books. My little trash can is down here. Those are crafts and holiday decorations that I have yet to finish because of this chaos. And then over here is my husband's desk and my dresser. This is my dresser. This workout bench has the only clean clothes I have access to right now, and my jackets. And then my currently reading projects, little sneak peek of upcoming videos. Very fun. But yeah, that's it. Glamorous, I know. Hello siblings, it is very far in the future Scout here to wrap up this vlog because I fell off. Gonna be completely honest, I stopped vlogging because life was really hard, and that was a season that I don't want to ignore. I wanted to document it because it was important. It shows that, you know, life has ups and downs and things often don't go as planned. So I wanted to recap what happened in the video just really quickly in case people wanted to skip to the end to see what happened, get a summary, and also to close out what happened because editing this footage, either I've lost some days of clips or I was just losing my mind and didn't actually clarify anything that happened. As you know, my husband tested positive for COVID-19 on Saturday morning that I started this vlog, day 1, and after that we kind of were playing the waiting game of keeping a distance from the child. You know, I stayed away from him, he was locked in a room, and then I wore a mask when I was taking care of my kid, and that was that. We were just waiting for me to get sick and show symptoms since I was exposed a little bit to him. Ultimately, no one in the house got COVID except for my husband, but the following week, a few days in, I can't remember exactly what day it was, but that following week while I was taking care of my husband who was quarantined away, my daughter got a really bad fever one day, as I explained in one of the earlier days. She ended up getting hand, foot, mouth, which is a very common sickness for children. It passes amongst children really, really rapidly. It's very contagious, but in adults, it's pretty asymptomatic. Adults will maybe get a scratchy throat and that's that, but they pass it to children very easily, which is why it's very important to give newborns space, to give new parents the benefits of doing what they're comfortable with, because there are invisible sicknesses that you don't know about unless you're a parent. I had never heard of hand, foot, mouth until my kid got it, and it was horrible. at the end of these clips, what I ended up telling you was that she got a fever and then it went away. And that's true. She was getting really, really high fevers, up to 103, almost breaching 104, which is a very high fever for a 2-year-old. The fevers were not the end of it though, and that is why I had to stop vlogging. I mentioned that she got sores on her feet. Those sores were really bad. Her feet were raw and peeling. It was on her hands. It was getting everywhere on her. It went all the way up her legs, onto her little diaper area and her bum. It was horrible, and she was miserable. It was just like cuddling and crying and whining, and I had to carry her everywhere. I felt so bad for her. So not only was I taking care of somebody with COVID-19 locked in a room in our house, which had my stuff in it, I had to do my own laundry every like other day because I didn't have any clothes that were, you know, not covered in virus. But I was also taking care of a kid who had hand, foot, mouth, which is already super intense, and I had to wake her up constantly and, you know, be on top of that while being the delivery person and the cook and the clean and everything for somebody locked in a room who can't do their own stuff. And I had hand, foot, mouth at the same time too. I didn't get any of the sores. Adults usually don't. I did have the sore throat though, and I was extremely tired, but I couldn't take care of myself. I was taking care of everyone else. All to say, my kid ended up having hand, foot, mouth for, I think it was 2 weeks before the sores started going away. But it took a full month and a half before the skin grew back in the spots that it had become raw. And then additionally, they had told me over the phone, over a very strange phone call with a doctor, that she may lose her toenails and fingernails, which did not happen. It was absolutely terrifying being told that, but she did not lose them. There was one finger where she had gotten a sore under the nail. That nail grew in funny, and then now it's completely gone. Like, the nail is still there. I mean, it grew out to a new nail and it's fine. It just became like a weird texture, and there was like 2 separate nails at the same time, but it never fell off, if that makes any sense. All to say, hand, foot, mouth is very serious. That was way scarier than I thought it would be, and very poor timing. It was, what a week for everyone to get sick. And then when I was gonna get this vlog together and post it the week after my child finally got better, which would have been like 3 weeks after the COVID-19 diaries, I got a really bad cold. And then the child got it, and my husband got it. Everyone got a really bad cold. We all tested. It wasn't the flu, it wasn't COVID, it was just the regular cold, but it was horrible. And so I spent a whole week struggling to survive with work and everything. This autumn has been chaos, and I'm so happy it's coming to an end. It is now going into December, so I'm very excited for the holiday season. We're going to be very careful because I do not want to go through any more sicknesses. Things are looking up from here. They're looking up from here. We've started decorating for the holidays. Yuletide is coming up. I'm so excited. We're all doing so much better. Everyone's health is better. We're kind of having allergies because we're in the wind season in the desert that we live in, so that's pretty normal that we get a little stuffy and runny because of that. But everyone has been illness-free, virus-free since the cold a few weeks after these COVID diaries. My husband in total ended up having a positive test for COVID for 10 whole days. It's a long time. He was only symptomatic for about 5, but he just kept testing positive, and he had a lingering cough for a few weeks, but it's gone. So that's the end of this story. Thank you to the COVID diaries for making me much stronger as a person and testing us, pushing us to our limits. The universe does that sometimes. Things are looking up, and I hope you're well. I hope you have not had COVID, but if you have, let me know your experience down below. I'm always fascinated by that experience. If you're a parent, has your kid ever had hand, foot, mouth? Have you even heard of it? Let me know down below because I think it's fascinating. I have a ton of mom friends who had no idea what it was until my kid got it, and I told them about it, and they were like, anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one, siblings. Stay safe and stay kind.